person. I said tonight is your lucky night. Tomorrow and Alec on the mic. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the second episode of the Agender Agenda. I'm Alec.
I'm Tamara.
I identify as agender, hence the title of the podcast.
I identify as questioning, but non-binary.
Definitely non-binary.
Haven't got a specific, worked it all out yet. Maybe gender fluid.
That's an option.
Yeah. So last episode, we didn't address our pronouns at any point.
Which is quite a big deal in a non-binary podcast.
So what are your preferred pronouns? Or we should just say pronouns.
I'm happy with any of the well-known ones of he, she, they. My preferred would be he/her. So you could say the sentence, he went to the shop and got herself some nice bananas.
I thought you were going to say mini cheddars.
Not everything is about cheese.
My pronouns are they, them. For a while I was still using she, they, but I realised whether I like it or not, I'm going to get she all the time.
Yeah.
So I would prefer people to use they because
even if you say they, some people will still use she anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well say they.
What I hate though is gender terms like lady or madam or girl or woman. I can forgive being called she. I don't know if I can forgive being a madam.
A woman.
A woman. Not that there's anything wrong with being a woman, but it's just not my vibe.
I don't think I can say the same. There's a lot wrong with being a man.
I stop and stare at you walking on the shore. I try to concentrate, my mind wants to explore. The tropical scent of you takes me up above. And non-binary person when I look at you, oh, I fall in love. I have a question for you.
We have to start with a question, of course.
Little question. I love my little questions. This one, another one of my favourites. So if you were Cruella de Vil...
I'm not. I don't like Cruella de Vil.
If you were...
If I were Cruella de Vil...
Which dog breed would you choose to turn into a coat?
I don't want to turn any dogs into coats.
If you were Cruella de Vil...
If I had to choose something...
Hypothetically.
Oh.
I would choose a poodle.
A poodle?
I just think...
So
or like
a
King Charles Spaniel, so it's like curly and fluffy. Have you ever seen a chow chow? Do you know what chow chow looks like?
You asked me this before. I should have got an answer. What was the answer
I've
last
asked
time?
you this many times.
What was the answer last time? How about a greyhound?
Yeah?
I think a greyhound would be a good answer.
Why?
Because
they barely have any hair.
Exactly. So it would be nice.
Okay. You do you, Cruella.
Baby non-binary person, let your loving release.
Oh, oh, oh. Mysterious non-binary person, I wanna get close to you.
So close to you, my baby.
Oh, oh, oh. Mysterious non-binary person, move your body close to mine. So in the first episode, we had a look at some alternatives to boyfriend and girlfriend. And today we're going to look at some alternatives to other gendered language and also have a discussion about some gendered terms that are missing gender neutral language as well.
Very true. There's lots of particularly occupations that have male and female roles but wouldn't have an option for a gender neutral person having that role.
We could create some though.
We could, of
quite
course,
easily.
create some.
I think a lot of terms are quite easily made gender neutral.
Oh, definitely.
We're lucky in this language that we do have the option for gender neutrality a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because
there's lots of languages that use two or more genders for like any word. For example, do you know the Spanish for non-binary?
Is there a masculine?
There
and
is a
feminine?
masculine and a feminine. There is non-binario for a masculine, non-binaria for a feminine, which completely defeats
Would you
the
be a
point.
feminine or a masculine non-binary?
That's not the point.
We can go through some obvious ones. So, mum and dad,
Parent, good start.
brother, sister,
Sibling.
nieces and nephews.
Didn't you? Isn't there a word for that? I don't know.
Nibbling.
Nibbling. Is that a word, or is that a you've made up
I
word?
haven't made it up. I've seen it like online before.
Nibbling.
I think it's a great word. I think it's really cute. Little nibbling.
I don't have any nibblings. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet either. Oh, I've got
Well, you have.
Cupid.
Yes.
My older sister has a cat called Cupid. One I've struggled with finding a term for is uncle, auntie. I'm gonna see what the internet says. Uncle.
What?
Uncle. Like
uncle
I
with
don't know.
an A at the beginning.
Yeah. Pibbling. I don't
Pibbling.
like that.
That sounds like a pet. Ninny.
BB.
Bibby, ninny, titty, zizzy.
Titty.
Yeah, from the Spanish.
Entel.
Tio and Tio.
Entel.
Entel. Entel sounds okay.
Untie.
Untie. This is my untie.
If you have any ideas for uncle and auntie, please let me know, because I've not found anything that I think feels comfortable yet.
When Cupid is old enough to talk to you, what would you like him to call you? Is the answer titty? Did you know that in French it depends whether you're masculine or feminine for the word for cousin? They don't have a gender neutral like we do. So even though some languages have gendered language for all words, even words that are particularly gender neutral for us, for example, cousin, can be split into masculine and feminine.
So we don't even have masculine and feminine for cousin.
Exactly.
For things like postman, fireman, de-gender that.
Postman, fireman. So post person.
Posty.
You can't do that. You can't do fiery. That's not right.
Firefighter.
Yeah, but you're saying like posty.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
You can't say fiery.
I could say.
That's the opposite of a
firefighter.
firefighter.
I need to call the firers. Policeman. Police officer.
Police officer. Sure.
We also shouldn't assume people's genders based on their profession. E.g., nurse.
Teacher is one. Even doctor. All the time.
Builder. And also, we have terms like actor, actress, waiter, waitress, which are gendered.
So if you were, as you are, of course, been in many shows, what would you class yourself as in that term? I don't mean waiter or waitress, just so you know.
I think I would prefer to just be an actor. Like, I'm the sort of person that will just use actor for everyone.
Yeah.
Which I think does cause issues because it's like the male
True.
the masculine always takes precedent.
I've always said actor or actress, dependent on who the person is, for that reason. But then that in itself removes non-binary people who might not feel like they're either of those things.
It's a tricky one.
It is a tricky one.
Performer.
I was about to say stage
I'm
performer.
a performer.
And what did you say for waiter or waitress? You could say
Server.
Server. Yes. King or queen.
Monarch. Or ruler.
Emperor or empress.
Overlord.
Overlord. Overlord. Do you know what is gender neutral?
What?
Dictator. That is
I
gender
don't think
neutral.
that's something we should encourage.
But it is gender neutral.
It's probably because you wouldn't get a
You wouldn't
female.
You can't do.
I can't do air quotes on a podcast.
You can't do air quotes on a podcast.
Female.
Female.
Dear Sir, Madam.
Is that why you started calling yourself Sir?
It's not why I've started calling myself Sir, But a friend once messaged me saying, "Yes, good sir." And I was like, I love being called sir. So now on forms, when I'm not given a gender neutral option for a title, MX, mix,
Love mix.
I will put sir, if sir is available, or I've been putting doctor. Sometimes they'll give you so many options.
Reverend.
Yeah, I've been reverend
Colonel.
before. Lord and lady, I'm like, oh, I can be Lord. I'm Lord Tamara.
Lord Tamara.
Landlords, landlady, owners, Tories.
No. No.
Terrible, terrible people. Eat the rich.
This is not the podcast we are doing.
Husband or wife?
Spouse works. On husband or wife, you know how if a woman stays at home to look after the children and do the housework, they're called a housewife. And that's a lot more common than a house husband. Why not use the term house spouse? Because
that sounds so much better.
It's gender neutral and it rhymes.
I want to be a house spouse.
House spouse.
What do you do when you address a group of people? Like if you were to write a group email or a group post?
Dear readers.
Because often people
Dear
will go...
correspondents.
People will go, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, if you're doing a speech or something. People
Guys,
say ladies
I
or
think,
gentlemen.
Obviously, for some people, guys can be used neutrally. But I
use
think
guys neutrally.
I think it can be ambiguous and it depends on the person.
Yeah.
I've said chaps before.
Chaps.
I like chaps. I like folk.
Folk. Good type of music.
Sometimes I'll just be like, chickens.
Chickens.
Or I've used some really strange things to address groups of people to avoid using gender terms.
If you were doing a speech, you could just say distinguished guests.
I think generally as well, if someone's talking to you about a person and they haven't expressed a gender, then you should probably use they. And
people use they anyway if they haven't expressed a gender. There's lots of names, just first names, that are used that are gender neutral. Sam, Charlie, Alex. And then we find that lots of non-binary people, some stick with their name, such as I have. I've stuck with Alec, which is genuinely a male name, but it's quite unique in itself, so I'm quite happy with it.
Getting onto this topic of names now.
Yeah, why not? And then lots of people introduce new names for non-binary people, some of which are gender neutral, and some are just nouns that people like the name of.
I have a friend whose name is Neptune, which I think is an excellent non-binary name.
A great name.
I think it's so powerful. I can't stop thinking about the name Neptune. I don't mind Tamara in some contexts, but I feel like it doesn't always relate to me. I've started enjoying being called Ocarina.
Love Ocarina. Sounds great.
Yeah. And I've always liked being nicknamed as well. I was called Milk for a while.
Milk. You and your milk face.
Yeah. But yeah, Ocarina. Call me Ocarina if you fancy.
Ocarina.
Or Tamara. Or Earl Sandwich.
Earl Sandwich. I forgot about that one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the Earl of Sandwich, so...
You're not the Earl of Sandwich.
I am.
No, you're not.
I dress up like the Georgian Earl Sandwich. Non-binary person, I wanna be with you.
Oh.
I wanna spend the night with you.
Oh.
I need to be with the non-binary person that I love.
Non-binary person that I love.
Non-binary person, I wanna do to you.
Do to you.
All the things you want me to.
Oh.
I need to be with the non-binary person that I love. I, Tamara, think that this is the most important knowledge that I can give to the people. When I was thinking about alternatives to things that are gendered, the thing that springs to mind for me is, you might be familiar with the song, "There was an old lady who swallowed a fly." But obviously...
Are you saying it shouldn't be an old lady?
It shouldn't be old lady. So, I have a list of alternatives. First, and I think the best alternative I came up to was, "There was an old swallow that swallowed a swallow. I don't know why they swallowed a swallow. Perhaps they'll swallow a swallow." And I think it's a fun game. and also can help teach us to agender things in our lives. Agendify.
You're just taking the word woman out of a song. It's hardly agendifying something. It also isn't a word. Also, what am I doing with this?
We're also baking cookies. You're getting a flour everywhere.
I did it over the bowl. It doesn't matter anyway.
You did it over me. Let's
Right.
go through some other alternative. Goodness me.
Is this the
It's like you've never baked in your life. There was an old fish that fished a fish. There was an old building that built a building.
A building can't build a building.
There was an old fox that outfoxed a fox.
Outfoxed a fox is pretty good.
I think this is a great game as well to like keep you entertained, to come up with these alternatives.
Yeah, I often think I'm always bored when I'm making a podcast and baking at the same time. Why not read out some random alternatives that there was not lady that swallowed a swallow? No, fly it down. No, you've got me too into it. I said swallowed a swallow. No.
There was an old ghost who ghosted a ghost.
Don't know why the ghost
Ghosted
is
a
a
ghost.
ghost.
Perhaps
Perhaps
they'll
they'll ghost a ghost.
There was an old ghost that ghosted a ghost to ghost a ghost. I don't know why they ghosted a ghost. Perhaps they'll ghost a ghost. There was an old ghost that ghosted a ghost to ghost a ghost to ghost a ghost.
Just saying ghost over and over again. Where's my recipe
Why
gone?
don't you read one that you like?
Read one that I like.
Yeah.
I quite like. There was an old genie that put on some jeans.
You definitely came up with this one.
That was
You're
probably me.
You're like anti this list, even though you have definitely come up with at least a quarter of this.
I'm not
And
anti this list.
all the worst ones came from you.
The worst ones?
Like, there was an old kookaburra that cooked a burra. That came from your mind.
I like kookaburras. It's not my fault.
There was an old choir that acquired a choir.
That's a good one. Acquired a choir.
This one's for Hannah D'Souza. There was a nice lady who was a nice lady.
No, I don't like that. You're ruining the point.
Yeah, but that's just for Hannah D'Souza. This one's for Jem, one of my other siblings. There was an old gem that gemmed a gem.
That's just Jem's name.
That's also what she does. She does gem everything.
That's a lot of butter. Sure, it's the right amount.
Yeah. There was an old bone that boned a bone.
That's just disgusting.
There was an old bum that bummed a bum.
That's just you wanting to say the word bum.
There was an old poo that pooed a poo.
No comment.
There was an old leak that leaked a leak.
Leak to leak, as
Yeah.
in it gave out information.
Yeah,
Not.
about a leak.
Yeah.
That's the highlights of my list. If you have any alternatives you can think of yourself, this is a fun game you can play with your friends.
If anyone's still listening, why?
I would love to hear what your guys' alternatives to this is. And we're going to end on a musical number, and that is a full rendition of There Was an Old Swallow That Swallowed a Swallow.
I don't know why they swallowed a swallow.
Perhaps they'll swallow a swallow.
There was an old swallow that swallowed a swallow to swallow the swallow. I don't know why they swallowed a swallow. Perhaps they'll swallow a swallow.
I've been sitting by the phone hoping you'd call. When time you hear your voice I feel 10 feet tall. Body where you make no one person, no one person down my ball. No one person tripping over no one person when you time your name call. Your pretty looks around me like a flowers a bloom. And I love the smell of your unisex perfume. Your personality alone light up the room. Just one kiss alone and make the heart go boom. That's the end of this podcast. We discussed some alternatives to gendered language. Homework for all the listeners is to help me find a term I like.
A gender neutral term for aunt/uncle.
Yeah.
/ non-binary sibling of parent.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So you can follow us on Instagram at agender_agenda.
Or email us at wehaveanagenderagenda@gmail.com.
And that's all from us now.
I hope you enjoy the song that's about to start again.
Goodbye.
Bye. Oh, mysterious non-binary person, I wanna get close to you. Oh, mysterious non-binary person, move your body
close to mine. No, it's no. That's it. If you're, yeah.
I think you should do the shaker. I think we should do a chorus again where you do the shaker. You have to shake it in time.
No!